So hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the 1 Point Safety Show. We appreciate you being here. I'm joined by my glorious co-host, Scouse Andy, for the second time this week. How are you, mate? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm excited for this recording to be played out, really, and hopefully fans will like it, you know?
Yeah, let's hope so. Well, we'll start with we'll get to the inevitable. We were joined this week, and we had the opportunity yesterday to interview Washington defensive lineman, edge, Efe Obada. And we spent about 20 minutes with him. What we'll do is we will play the interview now, and then we'll come back to the chat, and we'll come back to any questions and all the other bits and pieces. But yeah, we'll play that for you now. So hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the 1 Point Safety Show. A little bit different one this week. We are delighted to be joined by number 97 defensive lineman Efe Obada, Britain's own Efe Obada. Thank you for joining us on the show. We really appreciate your time. Thank you for being with us.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me. Honestly, I love it. I'm honoured.
Even I got the same hat as me. I know Scotty gave you it last year when we saw you at the fan rally last year.
I did. I was out there, you know, just trying to interact with the fans, new ownership. They're trying to get everybody more involved, change of culture, all that stuff. And then I was walking by and I just saw the hat and I was like, wow, I need that. I need that hat. and honestly, Scott, I asked for it. And I was told, you don't ask, you don't get, and you gave it to me, and it's been my favorite hat ever since.
Definitely.
Thanks,
man. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get it. But yeah, thanks for taking the time to be with us. Obviously, we appreciate you when we come out in September. We're always there, game one, so we'll be the same again this year. It was 10 the first year, 3 last year, and I think there could be quite a few more of us coming out in September. So it'll be interesting to be with you. But I'll fire the first question, if that's all right, over to my co-host. This is Scouse Andy. Yeah. So Andy, go ahead, mate.
Nice to meet you, Paul.
Where's that name from?
Scouse Andy. Scouse Liverpool. Yeah. Scouse. Yeah. It's easy enough. People, there's too many Andys out there. Do you know what I mean? So might as well just go with Scouse Andy. Yeah, man. So my background is I'm a physiotherapist by background. So I'd like to know kind of more about you obviously had a really bad injury last year. Like, where are you up to at the moment with your rehab and those type things, or are you back to 100% yet, or
I'm not
at the moment?
I'm not back to 100, but I'm definitely out the woodworks. It was honestly a freak injury. Broke both my fib and tib, clean break. But whilst I was, threatening and worried about my future and everything like that, everyone around me was saying that out of all the injuries, this is probably one of the worst, the best case scenario out of the worst situation, because as ligaments and tendons and things like that are more
take longer to heal.
They take longer to heal and more detrimental, and they're just harder to come back from, as opposed to a bone break. It is going to be tough, and it has been tough, but it's just ideally just waiting for that bone to calcify, get hardened up again, get used to that stress, and then also just getting everything else that's shut down and atrophied just back to normal, like the quads and the calf, and getting that range of motion back and stiffness back. And obviously they went through the knee and in order to put the rod in and all those things. So it's just it's a daily grind. There's some tough days, some dog days. I feel like a kid again. I feel like I'm learning how to move again.
To walk normally again.
Walk normally again. Got to tell myself, no, I can't walk like a duck. I got to walk straight and push off the toe and all these different things. So it's a journey. I'm not there yet, but I'm definitely out of the woodworks, and I think I've got great people around me, a great schedule, and I'm excited for the season. I'm definitely going to be.
You ready? Yeah, you ready for the season? Do you think ready for the season?
Well, I'm going to be. That's the plan. That's the plan.
Good man. Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah, we listened to a couple of interviews over the off season there. One with obviously OC Umanura, and you were saying, yeah, comeback player of the year. Yeah, we got you. Well, that's going to be the hashtag here, comeback player of the year. That's where we're going with that.
I love it.
On your press conference that you had when you obviously re-signed back with the Commanders for this year, you mentioned obviously that DQ had reached out to you. Obviously, been a long time since you'd had anything to do with Atlanta, and how that make you feel? You know what I mean? Now that he's here, he's the head coach. You know, it's obviously something's working in the background to make it happen, isn't it? So,
listen, in my life, God always breaks protocol, and it just I was at the bottom. You know, what I mean, I'm at my lowest, and you know, I'm expecting guys from my team and coaches from my team and family members and all these other things, but then I wasn't expecting Coach Quinn to just drop me a text, and it meant the world to me, and everything and how everything played out. It's just God, and even to get re-signed, and I'm not 100%. I've been in the league for a while. I thought that the way it was supposed to play out, I get healthy, I get right. Then I hit my agent up and do the rounds, get cleared for physio and all that stuff. But they saw the potential. They thought that I could have value now, and they believed in me. They gave me an offer, and I'm grateful. I get to stay here. I get to extend my visa and then be in the facility with guys that know me, know my body, know what happened, and just continue working and just in order to get back. So yeah, I'm just grateful for the opportunity. He's a great guy, honestly. That you won't find anyone in this league that has a bad word to say about him. He's such a player-friendly guy, a personable guy, a teacher, a leader, and because he cares, you want to go out there and ball for him. You know what I mean? You want to go out there and put those words. Yeah, and just honestly be a crash dummy just because he genuinely cares about you. So yeah, I'm excited to play for him. I'm excited for the opportunity.
Excellent. I mean, that's going to be my next question. Actually, what is DQ like as a person? But you've already kind of nailed it already for me, man. So no worries. But
he's amazing.
Yeah, he comes across that way from what obviously we don't know him personally, but the way we see him in his interviews, how you can tell he loves ball, and he loves his boys, he loves his players. You know what I mean? So I think everything so far has been nice, and we've made a lot of moves early in the off season as well to make us hopefully a bit more competitive this year. And but yeah, man,
what's been your favorite move this off season?
Asking me a question. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm asking you. What do you like?
Yeah, I love it. My favorite one so far is Bobby Wagner.
Of course, I knew that was coming.
You knew it. Yeah, you knew it was going to come in. I mean, I could have said being re-signed. We could have caught that.
No, right.
But no, man. But yeah, Bobby Wagner, man. I mean, he's such a he's going to be a future Hall of Famer. And okay, we're getting him on on his downside, I suppose, because of his age. But I mean, I think he's got so much to teach people, and I think I think yourself is going to be one of those guys who's going to take a lot from him as well. I think you probably will speak to him a lot and take little tidbits from him as well. I know it's a different position, but it's just anything, isn't it? Really, I mean, it's kind of when you got that guy in the locker room, it's the guy you look up to, isn't it? Type of thing. Well, that's what for me.
Of course, he play and it's complementary football. It's as long as I set the edges and reset the line. He runs downhill, knocks people out. It's just complementary football. I'm excited. I'm definitely going to get his jersey at the end of this season. So
nice.
That's going to go on the wall.
You got to get that cop. Yeah. I mean, for me, Efe, it's Frankie Louvu. I just thought that was an unbelievable signing. I thought, coming in from Carolina, he is that almost that Micah Parsons role, but at the same time, you watch his tape and you can see him taking on. He's taking on defensive linemen. He's offensive line. He's smashing through, and you're thinking, hang on a minute, he's going against guards here that are twice his size, and he's rolling through. He looks like an absolute straight animal, and from what I've heard, he's a big leader off the on the field as well as off the field. So that's good. Scouts, you had the question there really as well for Efe about obviously the locker room and around who you're with.
It's just as part of to fill in was going to be about who are kind of your friends, who's your closest buddies that you kind of hang out with outside after practice and those type things.
So
you got anybody specific or?
There's a lot of guys, mainly D linemen, a lot of the guys have left, but there's Benny, there's Dre, there's KJ, there's Bada was one of the guys that I hung out with. There's Deron Payne. Who else? When Tez and Chase were here, then we hung out. But it's mainly a lot of D linemen. There's Sip. I like him a lot. But generally in the building, I'm a team guy. Anyone and everybody.
I suppose you wouldn't say it anyway, but is there any kind of real cliques in the kind of locker room for yourselves, or is it more like just position groups, like you mentioned? You stick with D line, the linebackers stay with the linebackers, stuff like that, or is it all mingled? Or
it's all mingled. It's all mingled. It's a very it's an open locker room. All the lockers are around the wall. So I love those type of locker rooms. I don't like the segmented ones. I think that when it's open, it just kind of free flows and everyone kind of gets the ability to interact with everyone. So it's just free flowing. But you do spend more time with the guys in your position. So genuinely, you kind of and then you have like-minded guys as well from the similar positions. So you gravitate to those guys, but. Anyone, honestly, anyone. There's guys that that might not be in the same position, but do Pilates with, and there's guys that there's different connections. Like there's guys that aren't in your position, but you go fishing with, or you watch a game with, and play games with, and all that stuff. So, but yeah, that's it.
Sweet. So you're back with Jeremy Chin then. I mean, you excited about seeing Jeremy Chin?
Listen, I think I had my career season with Jeremy Chin. Because the guy was just everywhere, just causing havoc, making the quarterback second guess his throws, and gave me more time to just be able to rush the passer and get after him. So I'm very, very excited for Chin. I'm very excited for Louisville. Like when he came, when Louisville came, I walked in and we signed around the same time, and I introduced myself, and it was just all love. And I got some phone calls from some guys that I'm still in touch with in Carolina. And they just told me that he's a genuine, nice guy, and on the field, like you said, Scott, he's a dog. He's an absolute beast. He's wreck stuff. I don't know if I can swear on this.
No, you good. You good. Go ahead.
We are X-rated.
Don't worry, man. We're all good. No.
You can do damage. So I'm excited to play with these guys, man. These pros, these guys that and then also it's a new team, it's a new system. So everyone's gonna bring their best game. So I think it's not going to be a wait and see year, or we need time to develop. I think it's going to happen sooner than a lot of people think.
I think we're excited really as fans because in my fandom, I really. Scouse has gone back a lot longer than I have, but that's not showing your age. You just had an older brother. I didn't. I pinned my colours to the mask on the RG3 year 2012. So it's quite. I've only seen it where it's been. It's been okay, but we're here. That's what we're doing. Back to you though, really. So what's the hardest part of your journey? Obviously, in the NFL so far. I mean, you were the first IPP player to make a roster. You've come through. You broke it through. You've been on practice squads. You set on at Buffalo. You got at Carolina. Had a good few years there. Mm-hmm. What's been the hardest bit of your journey so far, then, Efe?
Man, I think there's just so many. There's so many, but I think fundamentally it's changing people's opinions. Of where talent comes from, and earning that trust. Like I didn't myself and a lot of people that are coming after me through similar programs like the IPP and all these things, and don't get the luxury of having colleges background, or maybe coming from a football family, or knowing a coach, and just having those connections, or a fraternity. And we go to the IPP, we train for 10 weeks, we get put on the team, and it's grind, and it's like, okay, now we have to learn football, speak football, learn how to move our bodies, and then we have to earn the trust of our teammates, our coaches, and everyone around us, and head office and all these stuff, to be able to put us in, to let us. And so over the years, it's just trying to change that narrative, change that bias that American football is only for Americans, and So that I think that's probably one of the toughest things. There's teams I've been on that, regardless of whether I've been the best man for the job, I've not been put out and played in that same way. But slowly that's changing. I'm just going to stay consistent, keep making the most of the opportunities that I have, and I think when more guys like myself keep coming through and just breaking those stereotypes, it's just gonna open the floodgates.
Yeah, we've just seen it this week, really, and the last couple of weeks. Obviously, the IPP. For those who are listening, we'll talk about it a little bit more. But the IPP's broke out massive over this side of the pond with obviously Lewis Rees-Zammit, ex, British and Irish Lion, Wales in international rugby. I'm quite a big rugby fan as well. I'll hold my hands up for that. He's obviously signed with the Chiefs. We've had a couple of kickers and punters sign in the league as well. Right. So, they've done really well with the 2024 class. And obviously, how do you feel about representing the UK, Nigeria, Africa on the whole world stage? It's got to be quite a daunting thing, really, hasn't it? Do you know what I mean? Because you are the flag bearer, if you want, for a better term, to be, right. I'm the guy, everyone, it doesn't matter it doesn't matter what team we support. You get love. I've seen it from every single fan base. You still got Carolina fans out there. You still got Buffalo fans out there. Everyone on this side of the pond is like, no, FA's our guy. You know what I mean? So how does it feel? How does it feel being that flag bearer?
Honestly, I'm honored and I'm grateful for the opportunity and the love that I receive throughout my journey, and it just motivates me. It just keeps me going. It adds fuel to my to when to them dark days, to those hard days, the dog days. It lets me. Like I said, it motivates me when I get those no's and when I don't get the result. I just I just got to keep going. But I'm honored. I'm grateful. I don't think about it. I just, I'm very micro. I just focus on the day to day. But when I sit back and I look back and I'm glad. Like I've got Scotty wearing my jersey right now. That for me, that's huge. That's huge for me. That makes my day. That makes me happy. That makes it just fills me with pride and joy.
You're wearing our hat, so
I need more of these hats.
We'll get you. Don't you worry. Don't you worry.
Are you selling these?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we've got them. Don't worry. We've got beanies. We've got all sorts. Yeah, okay, we'll get the merch going. So don't worry. So you're heavily involved as an ambassador for obviously NFL Africa. For the international player pathway and for the NFL Academy. And a lot of people, when I speak to our American friends who, we do podcasts across the sphere, and we speak to Washington fans and others, they know nothing about the NFL Academy. Ultimately, we think that it's probably going to land a franchise in here one day. Is something's going to happen this side of the pond? Jacksonville Jaguars, I'm talking to you. What sort of things do you do?
I 100% believe that, and I think if you just look at what they're doing, they're just testing the waters. Last year they played 2 games back to back, just kept them in the UK and see what that's like. It's slow. It's gonna get there. I promise you. That's where we're trying to get to, anyways.
Yeah, I mean, we were saying before, the next glass ceiling is a quarterback, isn't it? That is it, because we've had guys who've come through the programs. We've had guys who are getting D1 scholarships from the NFL Academy, which is brilliant. But
right, we've had coaches and defensive coordinators.
Well. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Very true.
So
Adam Durden, yeah, is he still at the Cowboys? Is he?
No, he's the defensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
He's gone to the Seahawks, has he? Yeah. He's gone follow Mike up there. Nice.
Do you know that guy, Adam?
Yes.
Didn't you play with him?
No, he was the coach that scouted me.
That's right.
Oh wow. Okay.
Scout wasn't he originally? Yeah. I think.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, just off the football trail. How about real football? How about English football?
English football.
Are you a fan of English football, or you?
I only dabble in the main events like the World Cup and.
All right. Okay, don't have a club team then.
Yeah, I don't really have a club. I like Arsenal, and then when I play FIFA, I use Man City. So.
Oh, that's cheating, though, isn't it?
I know it is. No, but I was using them. Listen, I was using Man City before they got good, and they all that money. I was using them even in Pro Evolution days. That's when I was using them.
Oh, Pro Evo, yeah.
Yeah, so
original. Old school, original. Yeah, I like that. So, I've got one. We've been really generous with your time. Honestly, we appreciate you being on with us. It's been great. Last question, really, from me to sum it up is: what's the worst part of training camp?
Ooh.
And is there anything that you miss from the UK or Nigeria, as in food or music or anything like that? What do you miss the most? Obviously, being over there.
Okay. The worst thing about training camp is joint practice. I hate joint practice. It's like I don't understand it. You know, you have a high competitive environment where guys are trying to compete back to back to back, and it's full on days, and everyone's trying to earn a job, and then now you also have certain games, like you got preseason games which are very competitive, and sometimes guys, the ones and guys that are certain to make the team aren't going to play, so there's a lot of mileage. And then now you're going to add joint practices to and then you go to another, and then sometimes you have to go to another state, another team, and then there's a lot of egos, there's a lot of pride, there's a lot of bravado, there's a lot of fights. It's just, for me, it's just unnecessary. It creates good content, and and all that stuff. But in terms of trying to develop a team and find out who your guys are, I think it's a sneaky way of trying to get an extra game. It sleeps slightly, but
towards that kind of thing.
Yeah. But I just think it's I hate it so much. Like, I always end up in fights. You always end up in fights. It's like
there's fights last. There was fights last joint training.
It was about Mark Andrews who threw one of our guys.
It was Mark Andrews.
Exactly.
This is
that's
practice.
what I'm for. And he's hurt, got him injured, all of that stuff. That's another man's career. People don't there's no respect for people's careers and the hardship and the hard work that they've had to put up.
He's 6'5", picking on a little fella, and I said, "Wait there a minute, that's just a bully."
Exactly. You know what I mean? But
did you go over and chin him?
You'd like to.
Mate, you did, didn't you? You did go over, didn't you?
There's to be fair, we've seen Efe in person. You're not a small bloke, that's for sure. So there you go. But yeah, anything you miss from the UK or from Nigeria? Sweets or come
UK,
on?
I miss the weather. I miss the
beautiful sun. Come on. It's absolutely hammering it down, and it's 9 degrees Celsius.
I love it. Listen, they said, I saw this poll, and it was like the UK is the second most depressing country in the world, or something like that. I was like, "What do you mean?"
Hey, we live here. It's all good.
All the time.
It's probably just family and friends.
Oh, fair enough.
That's the one.
Well, specific foods or anything that you miss? No. Or...
Nando's. But you know what? Yeah, I'm tired of calling out Nando's. I saw the other day that Saka got a Nando's sauce, and I've been repping Nando's for my whole career, and they've never reached out. I've added them, so I'm done with Nando's.
You need that black. You need that black card. You need that black card.
Exactly. I haven't even got a black card. I'm done with them. No, honestly.
Nightmare.
So if you're watching Nando's, get Efe sorted out now. Scouse, any last ones from you, mate?
No.
Oh, he's dropped off.
Oh, he's gone. Oh no, oh, there he is.
We've got him on.
Oh, is he back? There we go.
Yeah, you're back.
No,
we're just gonna say
any other questions, really? I mean, just just to say thank you for your time, man, and really, hopefully we get you back on at some point, throughout the season or end of the season or something like that.
I would love that, honestly. If you send me another hat, I'm on there.
Yeah, I've got you. Don't worry, I've got you. Don't you worry about that. You tell me the color and what you need. That's absolutely fine. We'll get that sorted out for you. No problem at all. We're looking to come back out for week 1. So obviously, if you're around, Jason Jason Wright's got our details, actually, bizarrely enough. So yeah, if you not that I'm dropping names, not that I'm dropping names. You're the big time, big time. Yeah, but yeah, I'll drop you a direct message or something if you're around before the season starts. We'll be in town. There'll be quite a few of us going out hopefully this year. So yeah, we'll there'll be some sort of fan rally or something like that this year. So. Yeah, but thank you so much for being on with us. We really appreciate your time, and obviously, best of luck. Get yourself better. Comeback Player of the Year. You know, this is it. This is where we're going with it.
High expectations. High expectations.
Oh, come on!
I've got big shoulders. It's okay. I've got big shoulders.
Scouts will have a go at me if I don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. That's it. We'll see you on that field soon. Thanks anyway. Thanks. Really appreciate you, Efe. And thanks for your time.
Thanks for having me, man. You guys have a nice one.
Take your mic off, mate.
That's a disaster. I was on mute there. I was just saying, Efe was very, very gracious with his time with us. Can't thank him enough for being on with us. Obviously, he messages us afterwards saying really enjoyed it. So, yeah, hopefully the first of many that are coming on the show. Thank you, everybody who is watching on X or watching on YouTube Live. We really appreciate you tuning in for this one. Honestly, this is when you look at this, Scouse, you know, Andy Burrows put, and he's in our chat, he planted the seed in our head about a year ago and just said, you guys need to start a pod. Not once did I ever think that me and you would ever have a player on. And honestly, it is like there's levels, and it's like, wow, you know, we've actually gone and done it. I was the most nervous I've ever been in my entire life, thinking, oh my God, you know, I'm gonna get this guy on, and what if it all goes wrong? And no, it was really good. So Efe, if you are watching, nice thank you.
Super nice dude, man. And
honestly,
you know,
yeah,
I was laughing and joking before the video, and also afterwards as well for a couple of minutes. I know he went there at the end, but as you said, he messaged you directly a bit later on as well. So, you know, it's such a good guy. And I hope everything goes well for him with his injury, and hopefully he'll be there ready week one, like he said. So.
100%. I hope we go out there. If you're in the UK crew, or even in the Red Zone lot, whatever. If we're out in September, we get to go and see meet up with him and just say thanks in person. Really, thank you, Deluxe. I appreciate that. And thanks for being with us. You're always in the chat. You're a real one. Yam, thanks for being with us as well. Appreciate you, Scott G, Burrows, Deuce, everybody who's in the chat. It's great. Well, you know what? I've had a bit of a trim up because obviously Efe was coming in, Scouse. So you know, I had the old Barney done and
2 minutes to do. Yeah,
absolutely. You know, I put my head out the window and the wind blew off my wig. But yeah, I had a trim up round here. So when obviously you have a trim up, and this is for any guys out there, really. When you have a trim up, you want to trim up your more sensitive parts as well at times. Well, I tell you what, Scouse, Manscaped has got you covered with the new Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. Try it out. They do their grooming care packages. And if you use our promo code, you can get 20% off, and you can also get free shipping and delivery. So the promo code for Manscaped is OPSS. That's OPSS, 1 Point Safety Show. Also, as an Easter bonus, you can receive not just 4 months, but 6 months free from their subscription replacement service, which you can cancel at any time. And it will schedule replacement blades. It will do hair and body washes, that sort of thing. And you can also use Klarna and PayPal if you don't want to pay in free. We know people who want to pay in free. So if you want to do that, go and check out Manscaped.com.
Paying free, isn't he? You know, from the draft party a couple of years ago.
I know. So Manscaped.com. And then at the checkout, use code OPSS. We've also got to shout out our affiliate as well on the show, Dunstable Town FC. We've been gracious enough to sponsor them for the season. We're in the match day program, so thank you, Andy, and everyone at Dunstable Town Football Club for putting that in and giving us a bit of a shout out down there. They have a podcast called Talk of the Town podcast. If you're into non-league football, please go and give them a listen. They are available on all podcast apps, and in the show description, we will have their link tree as well as to where you can download that. On to news then, really, Scouse. Been a bit of news this week in Commanders land. Yep, so you're right, Scott. The restraining order is being written up as we speak, but I'm pretty certain it'll be allowed. I'll talk to the Prime Minister. It'll all be all right. Don't worry about it. We've made some signings this week. Some that we are filling roster spots. Some that potentially could be 90-man roster moves. We don't know. We signed wide receiver Zacchaeus, Olamide Zacchaeus, I think is how you pronounce him. 26 years old. He's come in from the Philadelphia Eagles. He's been with Atlanta. He was with Atlanta from 2019 to 2022. And then Philly, 2023, is an undrafted free agent. He's had 104 receptions, 1,492 yards and 10 TDs throughout his career at the minute. Comes in just to fill that wide receiver room. Any thoughts on him, Scouse?
I mean, he's a camp body, and if he does anything better than that, I'll be shocked. To be fair, he's never been a true kind of wide receiver 3 or anything like that. I know people might think he might be one of those, but for me, he's on the fringe looking in. Really, he really would have to impress to stay on the team. Personally, he's got some skills, but he doesn't move the needle in any way. But I think he's more of a camp body, and anything better than that's a bonus.
Yeah, we'll see where he goes. I mean, he's just filling the roster room out at the moment, filling that wide receiver room out and see where we get when we get to 90 men. We also signed quarterback Jeff Driscoll, 30-year-old quarterback, 2016 6th-round draft pick from the 49ers. He was with the Bengals from 2016 to 2018, the Lions from 2019, the Broncos 2020, Texans 2021 to 22, Arizona 2023, the Browns in 2023, and his stats in his career are 16 TDs, 10 interceptions. He's completed 391 passes with a pass completion rate of 59% for 2,394 yards. We needed a QB in the QB room. We only had Mariota. So for me, QB3, Jake Fromm replacement. Funnily enough, Adam Peters obviously said we'll go into the season with 4 QBs, into training camp. This looks like this is your 4th body in that room.
Yeah, totally agree. He literally is 3rd or 4th string. I mean, that's what he's going to be. He's got some experience about him. I'm unsure. I mean, it must be purely for the camp arm and stuff like that more than anything else, because he's not better than Mariota, and even Fromm is probably similar in level. I mean, I don't like Bristol at all, really, to be honest. But I'll see how it goes. I mean, again, I hope we never see this guy on the field. At the end of the day, we shouldn't be seeing him if everything goes well. So
you'd hope so.
It is what it again doesn't move the needle. Again, it's just a camp body, and it is what it is.
And to answer your question, Ian, yes, my man crush did get even stronger. So yeah, it was really good being with Efe. Last signing that we got on the docket. Then we've got 2 more signings actually. We've got a running back, Jeremy McNichols, 28-year-old 5th-round draft pick in 2017. From Tampa Bay. He played for Tampa Bay, the 49ers, the Colts, the Titans, the Jags, Atlanta, Pittsburgh. He's been pretty much everywhere. Again, camp body, running back 4, maybe at best, running back 3. He's obviously trying to fight for a job, and we get that and we see that. So people out there in Twitter, don't panic. This is a camp person who's coming in. We don't know if he's going to make the 53. Just chill your beans. It's not like, oh my God, this is some.
It's unlikely, but he did have one great season alongside when he was alongside Derrick Henry over at the Titans.
He did, yeah.
He was good as RB2 there. But besides that, as you say, as you noticed, you listed off all his teams. He's a bit of a journeyman, so it is what it is. Say it's just camp bodies for now, and to see how see how it plays out. If he impresses, or there's some bad injuries, you might see him on the 53, but again, he's literally on the fringe looking in.
Thank you, Deuce. Shout out to Deuce Red Zone in the Lab. If you haven't subscribed to Red Zone in the Lab already, please go and subscribe and watch it on YouTube. Deuce is also the king of Twitter Spaces. So if you're on Twitter, or X as it's now known, please have a look on there. You will find Deuce on there. Just search Red Zone in the Lab. He's always starting up a space. They're really good if you're at work or if you're out walking the dog or whatever. Get involved in that. Listen to people chatting ball. It's fantastic. So, shout out to Deuce. Thank you for being with us as well, and I appreciate the kind words from the FA interview. Last one then, last signing that we've got. It's funnily enough, we're talking to Efe about this, the international player pathway. Obviously, every team this year has an extra practice squad place for an international player from the international player pathway, and also has an extra spot on the roster as well as the 54th man. And if they choose to obviously elevate the person, it is defensive lineman. I'm going to try and pronounce his name. I'll do my best. It's Hagi Chisholm Nambue. He is a native of Nigeria who first learned about the NFL when he saw some highlights on YouTube when he was 18. The Commanders announced that they've signed him. He was identified through the IPP, as we talked about. He spent the last few years honing his skills. 6'7", 323 pounds. He's tried out as a lineman on both sides of the ball. He played on the offensive line for the Cardinals in a 2022 preseason game. And he's also played defensive line in a preseason game for the Broncos as well. Hasn't really latched on with any of the teams because the IPP at the time and the NFL didn't agree to the rule to have an international player on every roster. It was obviously handpicked by each roster. So you got to think if you're going into preseason games and you're going into the 90-man roster, this guy's just trying to earn a job, you know, so he's playing maybe the fourth quarter, that sort of thing in a preseason game.
And it's like what Efe said. It's like what Efe said as well about international guys. You know, you don't have the trust of the players yet, the staff members, the coaches, all the rest of it. You don't have that at the start because, as you say, this guy has been learning the game at 18. No, the guys.
Yeah, he's 23 now, so
the guys in the NFL, though, they're playing at 6 years old. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the difference, and that's where they're missing a lot of that kind of foundational learning. I think Obada would be a great mentor for him as well. He's gone through exactly the same situation, and he's excelled, to be honest. One of the better.
And funnily enough, I watched his. If you haven't seen his interview, he's done a player's interview, sign-in interview today on the Commanders YouTube channel and on commanders.com. And he actually mentioned it. He said, yeah, no, FA's the flag bearer, which is exactly the same thing as what we said. You know what I mean?
The pathway bit builder. Do you know what I mean? That's what he is. He's, you know, he started it all off. I say he's the first guy ever to make a 53-man roster. I mean, there was guys before him who made a practice squad. But
Alex Gray, Christian Wade's done it since, and you know, there's been players out there.
The first guy to get a real spot on the team. So
absolutely, yeah.
So again, who else would you want to kind of mentor you? Really, to be honest. And he was going through it when it was even worse. I'd say when it was even harder for guys from UK or anywhere else in the world to get in the NFL because, again, it was brand new. You are literally the true flag bearer. And that's, you know, it takes a lot of time to break down those barriers. And he's helped do that. And he's paved the way for these other dudes.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, who are maybe listening in the States or listening abroad, or those in the UK even who don't necessarily know about the IPP, basically the NFL has encouraged teams to sign international players. Among other things, they're granting a roster exemptions now for them. So this chap, Mbue, who's come in, he'll not count towards the 90-man roster off-season limit. And if he ends up on the practice squad, he'll also not count towards the 16-player practice squad limit that we've got. So he's just got a chance to learn. Do you know what I mean? I mean, we had it with David Bader. David Bader played in a few games for us. German defensive lineman. He was a defensive tackle. I think he's currently with the Panthers, actually. So he's kind of caught on. He's so good luck to David while he's out there. I mean, again, anyone that goes through this story or goes through this IPP pathway, it's interesting to watch the YouTube. They've got their own YouTube. They do a series out there where you can watch the prospects as they go through. That's how I knew about David Bader. I watched him when he failed the first year. He didn't get on the team. And obviously he was in tears. And then the following year, Ron Rivera said, you know, I've been through this with FA, and picked him up that way. Scott G is absolutely spot on. It's exactly the same, similar to the Samus Reyes situation. So exactly the same as him. I mean, he was the camp darling, wasn't he? He was enormous, built like an absolute tank, and everyone thought, "Wow, this guy's going to be an amazing tight end," and it just didn't work out.
Couldn't catch the ball, couldn't run a route, and he kept getting injured. So yes, not very good. But at least Obada has proven he can play. You know what I mean? Okay, he's not a number one DN, like he is a number two, but I mean, you know, you need number two DNs out there. You know what I mean? Or you know, you want to call it DN3, whatever. You know, the first sub that comes on when you're in the rotation, that's what he is. So, and again, you know, say he can produce for you. So where Reyes was just, again, it was an athletic freak, and we took the risk because of the traits he had, but But yeah, he didn't have. He's garbage, wasn't he? Let's face it.
Yeah, it wasn't. He needs to learn. He needs to learn the game, didn't he? As you know, as it is, it's got to be completely different to come from a totally different sport to then be thrown and thrust into this mix, and that's why it doesn't always work for players. But you know, fair play. We've picked this guy up, and we hope that he does well. Wish him well. As anything, anyone who
he's a lineman. You know what I mean? Like if he decides to pick a lineman more than say a receiver or whoever. It's interesting, especially because as we know, our lines are pretty. I don't know. What would you say?
Well, D-wise, I'd say D-line's okay, but
O-line before free agency. But I mean, it's still there's definitely some holes there that we could fill.
We will. So we've got next bit of news then, Scouts, is we've got jersey numbers. I mean, do we really want to go through this? Does it excite anybody out there? Jersey numbers. I mean, we'll go through it. Quarterback Marcus Mariota is going to wear 0. You've got Zacchaeus, wide receiver, is going to wear 14. Jeff Driscoll is going to wear 16. Austin Eckler, 30. Jeremy McNichol, 31. Michael Dieter, center, is going to wear 60. Nick Algretti is going to wear 67. Tyler Biadish is going to wear 63. And then we're into the defense. Frankie Louvu's wearing number 4. Deontay Fowler's wearing number 6. Jeremy Chin, number 11. Noah Igbenogany is wearing number 19. Michael Davis, 24. James Pierre, 29. Bobby Wagner, 54. Anthony Pittman, 57. Dorrance Armstrong, 92. And Cleveland Farrell is wearing 99. So you can cop a new jersey, Jesse. Special teams, long snapper Tyler Ott's wearing number 69. And Brandon McManus, the kicker, is wearing number 3. So yeah, that is.
And I agree, Scott, as well. 0 at QB.
I don't. That's weird.
But yeah, but think this though. Let's face it, he is a 0, isn't he? Let's face it, he's not a good quarterback though.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Sorry, Mariota, but it's yeah, you pick 0 for a reason, and I think that's the reason.
He's not my cup of tea. He's not my cup of tea at quarterback, but hey, this is the thing you've got to do. You've got to build a roster. You're going to get a rookie quarterback coming in. We're not going to labor the point, Scott. We'll get into that in a minute. But I think we're all quarterbacked out to death at the moment. Last bit of news really that we've got at the minute then is confirmed top 30 visits and draft prospects. So top 30 visit is where you get a whole day to do whatever you choose to do with a prospect. It could be going out to dinner. It could be putting them in front of a whiteboard and saying, look, let's draw up some plays. Let's go through this. Basically, you get to play more time and you have more time with the individual prospects that you've got coming from the draft. In these top 30 visits, you've got the entire day rather than 12 minutes or whatever it is at the combine. And then any pro day bits and pieces that you've seen there. So we'll go through who we've got. We've got Jordan Morgan, offensive tackle from Arizona. He is right up there, potentially 36th pick. I think, in all honesty, he's probably offensive tackle 6, if not offensive tackle 5 on the big board. If you're looking at all of them, my likelihood and thoughts behind him is that you're going to have to probably trade back into the first round if you want to pick him up. He is predominantly a left tackle, has played right tackle, but last year started for Arizona at left tackle. And yeah, he is, if you watch his film, he's a bit of a beast. I think he could do a solid job for this team. Next one, who's my sleeper guy. We talked about it on the Bleeding Burgundy podcast probably about 8 weeks ago. I mentioned it with Ken Johansson. Shout out to Ken. He said, we talked about this guy there. It's Kieran Amadeji, I think is how you pronounce his name, the offensive tackle from Yale. Obviously, his competition is not amazing, but he didn't give up a single pressure last year. Nothing.
Well, it's easy enough when he played 4 games because of injury.
I get that. No, he played a full season last year, Scouts. Wasn't injured. It was the year before.
That's why he's dropped, man. That's why he's dropped down the draft boards. Toe was quad.
No, that was the year before.
I'm a gauge,
Yeah, I'll look into that. I'll have to look into that.
We'll fact check that one, but still.
We will do. We'll fact check that. But anyway, he's coming in for a top 30 visit. So, again, he's getting a lot of draft stock. People are talking about taking him quite high, late second round, early third round, potentially for this. So, yeah, man, it'll be interesting to see where we go from there. More we've got is Jatavion Sanders from. We can answer that question from Deuce first. What's your favorite Commanders number of all time? Scouse, off you go.
21, baby. Has to be.
Yeah, it has to be.
Has to
There's
be
no
Sean
question,
T.
is there? There's no question.
And then just this one as well, man.
5 Tressway. Yeah. No.
Sad to say, the good times McCarthy rooms are heating up, man. Nah, man. Just shut your ears off from all of that. McCarthy's just not. He's just not going to be. He's just not going to be our dude. Trust me on this one.
I don't think he is either.
I can't believe this guy's stock has risen so high, considering that he didn't hardly do anything in college.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
He's won all this. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, he has. You got to deal with what's around you, and that's the thing. I mean, pro days, like we said last week, I don't put much stock into pro days. I'm not fussed about pro days at all. It's mainly about the interviews that you don't see on pro days. You know what I mean? It's about trying to make sure that we go through that. Ian, 28. Yeah, I like that. Mr. Green. Yeah, I like that too. We'll get back onto the top 30 visits. We've got Jatavion Sanders, tight end from Texas. Likely tight end 2, if not tight end 3 on the board, because Cade Stover's going right up the board at the minute. I've seen some people say that he is tight end 2 on their boards. But yeah, Jatavion Sanders, good tight end. That we need tight end as well. It's a position of need.
If we selected him, I wouldn't be upset.
Absolutely not. Same with me. Then the big one, I suppose, Jaden Daniels, quarterback from LSU, coming in for a top 30 visit, Scouse, as well. Thoughts on that?
I mean, you got to do your due diligence, haven't you? I mean, at the end of the day, would I select him at 2 personally? No.
Yes.
But again, would I be angry and like smashing windows like I would if he selected JJ McCarthy at 2? I'd go absolutely mental if he picked McCarthy at 2. But with Daniels, it wouldn't bother me as much. You know what I mean? Like you can see the talent there, so you're not going to miss if you do select him. So I wouldn't be upset with that one. So yeah, I mean, why not get to know him more? See what he's all about.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the more we can get him in the building, get him into the environment, look around, get him to draw up some plays, look at what his actual weight looks like, not water weight. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
I'm Team JT now. Yeah,
he loves it, doesn't he? This is more things that Scott G and Jesse are they're
getting more aligned, aren't they? Yeah,
I know. I'm starting to think, does Scott G, is that not just a troll account that Jesse's made? And I'm not sure. No, I met Scott G, so yeah, he is a real dude. And shout out to Scott. He's a good guy. Next one we've got then is Jatavion Jean-Baptiste, who is an edge from Notre Dame or Notre Dame, whatever you want to call it. It's Notre Dame. I know that. Notre Dame. But mainly he played 3 years with Ohio State and transferred out to Notre Dame. Good edge, very good again. Probably looking at mid-third rounder, possibly. I think they've selected him, or they said that he is pick 100 on most of the draft boards. So thereabouts. That's kind of where we'll go.
Second pick, but again, it's a little higher. I think is it 76? Or
76, yeah, 76, I think, yeah.
I can't remember, but might be. Is it? It's a bit lower than that.
It might be 78. It might be 78.
I can't remember. But, yeah. Well, our second, third rounder, if that makes sense, he could be there for that.
Mm-hmm. Next one we've got is Trayvon Wallace, who's an outside linebacker from Kentucky. I honestly don't know anything about this guy at all. Couldn't tell you. It's just a name
going to be more along the lines of Davis. Jermaine Davis is probably recommendation. Probably knows the guy. He went to Kentucky as well himself. So yeah, I can't.
But to get there's got genuine interest there because Peters is at the East West Shrine Bowl. They're at they're at pro days. They're doing bits and pieces. They've got the scouting network out there. So to bring someone in for a top 30 visit, there has to be some sort of interest there. I mean, Quan Martin came for a top 30 visit last year. And obviously look at what happened with Quan Martin, you know what I mean? So it doesn't mean it always happens like that, but the likelihood is, maybe 2 or 3 of these 30 visit guys are going to get signed by this team. You know what I mean? Because the interest is obviously there for them to see. The next one is a cornerback, Cam Hart. Again, he's from Notre Dame. Yeah, again, I like him too. Lengthy, long, very quick as well. He's got very good coverage skills. He is a side-to-side corner, play outside as well. And yeah, that'll be a very good draft pick for us. I mean, again, corner is a need for us. We have a need at corner. We need to make sure that we address that in this draft class. So again, can't grumble at that at all. Another cornerback from Boston College, Elijah Jones. He's coming as well. Again, don't know anything about this guy. I really don't know anything about them at all. So, yeah, Scott G's right. Remember, the top 30 visits may just confirm they don't want them.
It's very, very true. And also think about last season when we picked Forbes.
Mm-hmm.
We never even had him as a top 30 visit.
No, you're right.
Because we already knew all about him. Okay, Ron. Cheers, mate. Yeah. So don't always get too bogged down with the 30 visits. I mean, it's interesting to see who they want to speak to, but if there's question marks, they're probably the guys they're bringing in. If there's question marks,
exactly. They've got.
You know what I mean?
And then Marshawn Keeland, edge from Western Michigan.
Looks like a lot of edges so far, doesn't it?
He's lot of edges and corners. Yeah, it's like, okay, I get that. He is rising up draft boards as well. He's probably edge 4. I think they're saying that on most draft boards, edge 4 or 5. Probably a 3rd round pick at worst, but I think he probably gets drafted in the 2nd. And I don't think we're spending the 2nd round pick on him. I cannot, because I don't think we'll have a 2nd round pick, because I think we'll be drafting at the end of the 1st round. And then the last person that's confirmed, there's only 10 on here, so the last person that's confirmed as a top 30 visit is Michael Penix Jr., quarterback from Washington State. Obviously, the best deep ball thrower in the entire class. And as you said before, Scouts, you've got to do your due diligence, haven't you? You've got to make sure that you are covering off everything you've got. I think his 40 time helped him no end. You know what I mean? 4.64. Yeah, and I just thought, okay, he is quicker.
He can run, and I don't think he's had 2 blown ACLs, and he can run that fast. Imagine how fast he was. He probably lost a little step. Just because of those injuries. So, yeah, man. I mean, it's interesting because when you watch Penix last season, he very rarely ran. So everyone thought he was a statue back there because he didn't want to run. Now, again, he doesn't want to run, but now you can see he's still got that speed, so you can definitely utilize that at times. But again, he's not a running quarterback. He's not a Lamar. He isn't a Daniels who will run after the 1st or 2nd read and he's gone. Penix will stick in there and actually deliver the ball. Penix is, if he didn't have all these injuries before and his injury history was that bad, he'd be right up there ahead of probably Drake May.
Yeah, he's QB2.
I think maybe besides Caleb, I think he'd be number QB2. I really do.
QB2 or 3, definitely.
He's that good. He really is. He's an excellent, accurate passer. That's what you want in the NFL. It just looks a bit weird because he's a left-hander. But the guy's accurate.
Then it's a lot easier to fix right tackle than it is to fix left tackle.
Man. And that could be a way you could go, couldn't it? It could go that way in the draft. You can't get your Joe Alts, where you can get yourself a Fuaga, but maybe a bit further down in the 1st round. So
I don't know about that, mate. I think this fan base would go crazy if we drafted Penix. But there you
go. Appreciate that, man. Really appreciate that, PRM.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, we'll get into our questions then, because we've got quite a few fans submitted questions. So we'll go through this. Scott G, who's just literally on our screen as we speak, he's in the chat at the moment. He's put in, discuss anything but quarterback at 2. Quarterback fatigue has taken over. What mid-round prospect stroke position do we think could make the biggest impact?
Well, as you mentioned before, I think corner is the main position. I think you need to go after the first 2, the quarterback and the tackle. I think you either go double down on tackles after the quarterback. So quarterback, tackle, and then look into your corners. But that's where I'll be looking. I'll be looking at a corner. I mean, to be fair, I love Mike Sinistrel. I really do. I mean, he's a little bit smaller. He's a 5'9" corner, but he's he does bite a little bit at times on the play action stuff like that. But he's got some serious speed and he's great with his hips. He's fluid. He would be a great player for us. And I'm thinking pick 100 for him. They projected him in the 4th round, and obviously we don't have a 4th rounder, so it would be right at the end of the 3rd for me, and that's where I'd take him. I'd take him then, and if he's there, and he should be there, and hopefully he's there, I'd take him ahead of some of the guys we mentioned. I think he's got what it takes.
I mean, for me, the need is tight end. I think every quarterback needs a decent tight end. I think we've got one in Zach Ertz, who is a game changer, but you can't rely on his health, unfortunately, especially with the age. He's a great mentor. He's going to be good in that room. I can't rely on the tight ends that we've got currently in the squad. There's
injured. You know what I mean? Like,
but the thing as well, you've got to think is you've got Bates, you've got Amani Rodgers, you've got Cole Turner. I mean,
a lot of unproven. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And then there's not a lot of differential. And you've said as well, Scouse, on many occasions when we've been on this show and others, that when you've got Bates out there, you can pretty much go, blocking, you're going to run. When you've got Cole Turner out there, it's all right, they're going to pass.
It'll be a pass, exactly.
You need someone who's going to have that dual threat ability, who can block and who can actually do the catching as well and run the routes. I agree, PRM, QB, LT, tight end, cornerback. Don't forget safety as well. You know what I mean? We need a safety as well. So
we got a few.
I think we have Percy Butler can step up. We've got Sip. Is he gonna be a tweener? We've got I mean maybe we'll be all right.
Even though
Defoe, Jeremy Chin.
I'd play Chin at 3 personally. That's what I'd play.
Strong for me.
A lot of people want to play him, but strong. Which I get that, but I think Defoe is better suited to strong, and he's weaker as 3 than what Chin would be, if that makes sense.
And I don't think Percy Butler's a serviceable player as well. He's doing a good job.
Man. So. Special teams, you can play the odd snap here and there. That's all you're going to get, really. He's not going to blow you out the water. He'll get burned a couple of times, but I'm hoping that the system is different, where you're not learning 4 different playbooks, and then you can play faster, which means that these guys might actually be good. We just haven't seen it yet, So
true. Theo Johnson, I've got it right. I've got that written down, Scott. So I'll have a look at that when we get off this pod. Next question then is from Deluxe, who's also been in our chat today. I think he's still around. So he's at Arch Deluxe on X. So go and give him a follow. It's, can you name a roster holdover that benefits from the new coaching and either becomes a surprise contributor or a breakout candidate? Now, you could take this question one of 2 ways. When you say a holdover, do you mean someone who's just been re-signed, or do you mean someone who's been on this roster for a long time? So I'll let you go. Let's do it separately here. Are you still here? Cheers, Deluxe. Do you want to do one who's been here a long time, Scouse? And I'll do a one we've just signed and we've re-signed, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I think the biggest holdover for me is going to be Davis. I really do. Linebacker. Because he's going to be coached by actual real coaches, and also have some excellent linebackers next to him as well. I mean, you can't get it better than what he's got it now. He's got B. Wags, who's a future Hall of Famer, and you've also got Luvu as well, who's an absolute dominator, pass rusher. So I don't understand if he can't produce when playing with those 3, then he doesn't deserve to be in the NFL. It's as simple as that. Those guys are going to make sure that he's going to succeed. I think he's going to be, I reckon, a breakout star as part of that question, as you mentioned.
So I got 2 really. I'll go with Jahan Dotson. I just want to see that second year slump. Obviously, was evident. You've
got a rookie quarterback though. That's the problem you're going to have.
I know, but it depends who you've got. It depends who you've got as a rookie quarterback. So I understand the problem there. I would also say Emmanuel Forbes is probably going to come on. Well, we've got to see Emmanuel Forbes come on. I mean, honestly, the mobile phone that he had in his trouser pocket on his picture coming in looked bigger than his thighs. So he needs to step it up to be a true first rounder who's worth that pick. They need to invest the time in him now in the off-season program, and hopefully the second year, when it slows down a little bit more for him, he can learn the game a bit better, understand where I've got to put my body, when I've got to run, and hopefully it can be that takeaway machine that we all expected him to be, because this is predicated on what Dan Quinn and Joe Witt's defense has been like for years over in Dallas.
Going to play into his hands, really. He should with his skill set of his
Exactly
ball
right.
skills. He should produce this year. He really should.
So we'll go on to our next question then. Rod Morrison. Rod is at Rod Moore 39721910, and he was sporting a wonderful Washington hat that he's had produced. He said the point was made by Logan Paulson on the Take Command podcast that Daniels has shown progress and improvement every year and would probably be ready to start straight away. May, not so much, needs work on the mechanics, though he does have a higher ceiling. He said it's a coin toss. I mean, are you going one way or the other now?
I mean, for me, I'm still on the May train, and I think it's because you can't teach size. You can't teach size. You know, you can't teach a 6'4" prototypical quarterback. You can't teach that. Jaden Daniels was 210, and he had a belly. That was water. That was water.
Yeah, exactly.
To get himself that heavy. You know, this guy's playing weight's going to be 200 at the very most. So, where Drake May looks like a 220 natural guy. And the thing is, as well, May is only 21 years old. Jaden Daniels come to 24. So he's had 3 years extra. And so he should be a better quarterback. And the thing is that everyone's saying, well, Daniels has got this and May's got a bit of that and the kind of level. Well, that tells me Drake May's a better prospect. Because he's got 3 years of extra college playing time, and he's still not really showing that he's way better than a Drake May. You see what I mean? So I'd rather take the raw 21-year-old who's got loads of upside and just go with it and just roll with the punches. That's what I would do personally. You know, this guy's going to take the hits. He'll be able to take a hit. Do you know what I mean? I know I'm not going to name the comp that some people have said around some weird stuff saying Andrew Luck and all that, but I mean that's because he's got his, but no, he's not as good as him. But you never know, he could be in the future.
I've said it before. You know, we just got to trust the process here.
The problems are trainable, teachable from the quarterback coach.
Yeah, but the problems that Sam Howell had were teachable.
Yeah, but the thing is,
the
situation of that though was completely different here, mate. You know,
I get that.
Their quarterback really wanted. EB just set him up. EB set him up those last 5 games of the season, really did. And you know, Sam just fell apart under the pressure, which is fair enough. You know, you shouldn't really be doing that to your quarterback. You shouldn't be making him throw it 50 times. You just shouldn't.
No, and I still think Sam's going to have a very good career in the NFL.
I think he'll do really well at Seattle. I think next year he'll be this year they're coming up. He'll be a bench guy. He'll be QB2, and that's the end of Geno Smith's contract. Then, so I think Sam Howell will be ready to step up if he's ready. He'll be starting the year after next. So.
Agreed. But I mean, for me, I think Rod, we've got to just trust the process here. It is a coin toss. You're right. I don't understand the hate or the weird campaigns that are going on social media that you can't be a Jaden Daniels fan and a Drake May fan. You've got to pick a side. One side doesn't. I'm not picking either.
No, you go off what they've got, what they've shown on tape, what their skill set is, and all the rest of it. You know, and that's all you can go off. But then you got to take some of it with a pinch of salt because obviously it's still college. You know, it's a massive level difference coming to the NFL. You know, not many guys can hit the ground running. You know, I know C.A. Stroud done it recently, but there's not many rookie quarterbacks who come out and tear it up. There's just not many of them who do it. So don't expect that from any of these guys we get, even the Daniels. If you do pick Daniels,
well, look at Trevor Lawrence. It still hasn't settled for him yet.
Yeah, the jury's still out on him, and I think he's been quite decent. I think he's above average.
Yeah.
You know.
But he was the generational talent, wasn't he? Do you know what I mean? The absolute. You know, everyone thought
every QB wants the same, though, isn't it? Oh yeah, you know, Caleb Williams is the next superstar and all this. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what you're about. You know,
I know. It'd be interesting.
You know, Bryce Young fell apart. You know what I mean? But
Rod's second question. He said favorite draft prospects at O-line, D-line, and safety. So I mean, my favorite O-lineman prospect is Fuaga. I think he's fantastic. I think I also like Jordan Morgan a lot. I think he's going to be a left tackle for years to come in the trenches. Quite one of these guys who just goes about his business and goes there. Some of the tackle prospects that we've been put against don't really have that aggression, whereas Fuaga has that aggression. He is he is an animal. You can see him throwing people around, at the line, and I like that in a lineman. I want to see that aggressiveness,
don't you? That's what you want to see. You want to see it nasty.
Of course you do.
Every time they play, every snap. But yeah,
D line. Do you want to take D line, or do you want me to take that? I'm not fussed either way. Or have you got all three?
All right, cool. It's thingy at the moment, but
D line. My favorite D lineman, edge rusher, Chop Robinson. I think he's got a lot of bend. He's fast off the line. He's got more than one move. He doesn't just come and bull rush people because of his size. He's a little bit more slender than your typical edge rusher. But he is fast, man. He is very, very fast. Playing down there for the Nittany Lions, he is doing very, very, very well, and he'll go quite high. I don't think he'll be around in the second round at all. A lot of people initially in initial mocks were saying, "Oh yeah, we'll get him. He'll be in the second round." I don't think there's any chance of that happening at all. He's going late first round. So Chop Robinson for me there. Safeties, not sure. Really don't know. I'd have to research the safeties because I'll be honest with you, it's not my strong suit. I've been looking at predominantly what our needs are. So I'm looking at the O-linemen. I've been looking at the quarterbacks. I've been looking at the tight ends. I haven't really got onto a lot of the defense. I'm looking at the edge rushers. So I don't really know. Do you know what I mean? I'll be honest. That's brutally honest there, Rod. I don't know a lot around the safeties. I don't think it's necessarily. Well, I think we do have a need, but I don't think it's necessarily an early need in the draft. I think it's more of a late round.
Yeah, let's get someone in. I think we've got plenty. I can't see us doing that. I can't see us drafting any safeties. Being honest, besides undrafted free agents, to fill up camp bodies and stuff. I can't see us doing an actual real safety in the draft.
Following on from that, Cameron McDonald, who is at FK Commander fan on X, go and give him a follow. He said, given that most of us think QB and tackle will be the first two picks, what do you think our third position of need is?
Well, I think we mentioned that before, didn't we? I mentioned it corner, and I think, I say I want to go for, Mike Sinistro personally at the end of the third. That's what I want to get. As I say, you're going to get a tackle. You're going to get yourself your quarterback. I mean, next thing, most important thing is corner, and that's it. Unless you want to go a second tackle, but again, being the third need would be the corner. In my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's tight ends. I think Cade Stover. I think he's a great prospect. We talked about Jatavion Sanders as well, obviously out of Texas. Both very, very good tight ends. They're ones that we need to be looking at. Late, third rounders. That's where we need to be targeting them. Whether they're there in the third round, don't know. But tight end is an absolute need for us as well. So you've
got to think about, haven't you? Do you want a wide receiver, say 8?
Yeah.
Or a tight end number 2 in that third round?
Exactly right. Yeah.
So
I mean, I would double dip if you have to. I'd double dip on tackle. That's where I'd be going. But
yeah, I mean, you even mentioned before about kind of going back into the first. What we'd have to do, being honest, you look at these other teams. There's a lot of offensive tackle needy teams. We're going to have to go probably into like 19 or 20, to actually get a decent tackle.
I think so too. I think there's going to be a run on. I think there's going to be a run on tackles, but also at the same time. And Hall picked up on this on the Burgundy Zone on their latest episode. So if you haven't, go and watch the Burgundy Zone. Shout out to them as well. They've big supporters of our show. Hall was quite sensible in what he was saying, and he was saying, "Look, there's going to be a run on quarterbacks as well. So don't be surprised if 5-6 quarterbacks are taken. When them 5 or 6 quarterbacks are taken, and then people need the big edge rushers, your Chop Robinsons, the other Robinson, you're then going, right, well, now we're into the tackles, the Joe Alts, the Vashanus of the world. Then you're into Marius Mims. You've got, Fuaga, Futar. What's the other guy? There's 2 beginning with F. Fanu, that's it. There you go. Oh. And then you're into the, the Morgans and the Amagajis, and you're just like, hold on a minute. that's 6 or 7 tackles straight away, as you've just said, that are probably going to be.
You could even say 8 tackles could be gone in the first round.
Absolutely,
really
absolutely.
So we need to be ahead of all that. If we really want to get a tackle, we've really got to move up high. We've got to go to, like, you say, 19, 20, 18, something like that. Because the guys in the 20s, they're all after a tackle now, and I just can't see these guys actually wanting to trade out the pick as well.
True.
The other thing, because they're not going to want to lose their offensive tackle option. Like,
a lot of people are saying, "Oh yeah, trade with the Raiders," and I'm like, "Hold on a minute, the Raiders need a QB." So I think they're looking to trade up, personally. Do you know what I mean? To try and get further up the draft. So
if they want Bo Nix or Penix, then obviously at 13, they're probably going to be there. So it just depends who they're after.
It does. It totally depends who we're after. Well, Scouts, there's not a lot else for us to go through this week. Obviously, Xavier Legette, great player. But again, Ian, do you really want him over a tight end? Or do you really want him over a absolute solid starting outside cornerback? Or possibly, a right tackle of the future
at the moment. I mean,
for me, I don't think it is. I mean, I know it sounds stupid. We talked through these players that we're signing, the Zacchaeuses, we still got Diami Brown. I mean, yes, it's disappointing. We've got Crowder who can show a bit, but I'm like, I get it. I understand where you're coming from.
There's still Mitchell Tinsley on the thing as well. There's Mitchell Tinsley there. You've got quite a few of the dudes that you could even try out here.
Kaz Allen's still on the team. So
exactly, Paul Turner. We don't know what this guy is about. So Ian says, you'd rather have Legette than tight end.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not related to it, by the way. I'm not related.
Everyone's got an opinion, and that's totally fine. We're quite open with opinions. I disagree with you, Ian, but that's just my opinion, mate. So, going back to Deluxe, he's right. How much did we change between 21 and 24? Well,
exactly. You mature massively. You really do. And you
at 21 years old, I was married. And at 24, I was in a war zone. So, probably a bit of mature in there. And I was a dad as well. So interesting. But yeah, I did mature quite rapidly, Deluxe. You're right. So the total difference is there. But again, does immaturity bring its flaws as well? Or are you just going all out? Yep, I'll take the guy with the highest upside in Drake May, and we'll roll the punches and we'll see how it goes.
That's where I'm at. That's my camp. My camp. Yeah, I want to get May. Obviously, I want Kegler, but he's going to be gone at once. So
I'm leaning 60. I'm leaning 60-40 towards Jaden Daniels, and I don't know why. Maybe it's just all the smoke's getting to my head, and it's the constant Jaden Daniels is this guy. Look at how amazing he is.
That's the real smoke, mate.
No, that's not a description of my marriage. Warzone, Scott. She is the general in the relationship. Absolutely, mate. So if she asks me to stand on parade, I am standing on parade, and not in a dirty way. So don't take it that way. But it's all good. I mean, for me, I'm probably leaning towards Jaden Daniels. Scouse. Not sure where we're going to go with this, but to be honest with you, let's not talk about quarterback for a week. Let's see how we get on, dude.
There's a question, wasn't there, about was it Deluxe or was it Scott? Scott G mentioned about next week doing like a mock between us.
Yeah, we'll do a mock. It was Scott G.
We'll do a mock, and then
we can do that. We'll bring the mock draft generator up.
Who's is better? Stuff like that.
We did that last year. But we'll do it again this year. We'll bring up
one as a
together.
I think he means I do team 1 and you do a team 2 or something and see
That's fine. That's fine. Better. Yeah, we can do that.
But this way, Joe going number 2. So I'm telling you.
You can be Adam Peters. Yeah, I like that. You're trading back, collecting picks. Yeah, I got you. I know where you're going. But yeah, we'll do that, dude. We'll do that. Yeah, well, honestly, Scouse, been an unbelievable episode. This, for those of you who didn't catch it at the beginning, basically we had about 30 seconds intro, then went straight into the Efe Obada interview. It's about 20 minutes long. You can rewind this on YouTube, go back and watch it. You can come through via that's my wife, so she's not happy, but there you go, it's funny. You can go back, rewind it, go and watch Efe Obada's interview with us. He is ever so kind with his time. We really appreciate that he's been on with us. And what an episode, Scouse. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you for being with me. And thanks everybody in the chat. Thanks everybody in the chat who's been with us. Ian, Scott, Steve Lim, who's in here. Deuce is in here. Deluxe in here. Scott G in here. Everybody's been in. Yam's been in as well. So shout out to Yam. I hope your move went well back to the US, mate. Obviously no longer Yam in Japan, which we're going to miss. But hey, dude, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. Please go and like, subscribe, and follow the show. Shout out to Dunstable Town FC as well and Talk of the Town podcast. And also shout out to our sponsor, Manscaped. If you go to manscaped.com and use our promo code OPSS, you'll get 20% off shipping, and you also get some freebies there as well. So yeah, we'll do it all again next week. Thanks as always, Scouse. I will see you soon.
Bye.